I think potentially there has been a lot of back-channel chat to persuade Andrew to, as this phrase, do the right thing. I wouldn't go as far, I don't know what you feel, but I wouldn't go as far as saying the king has banned him.
It's been another day and another set of front pages with Prince Andrew splashed across the headlines. And, no doubt, more groans of despair from Buckingham Palace over his links to the alleged Chinese spy, Yang Tenbo, who was publicly named yesterday. I think you can only imagine how high the King's eyebrows were raised this morning at Clarence House as the papers were laid out on the breakfast table. But Charles can, at least, breathe a bit of a sigh of relief that after heavy pressure and a lot of spinning from his courtiers, Andrew has decided to do the decent thing and pull out of spending Christmas with his big brother and the rest of the royal family at Sandringham in Norfolk. So we won't see him stomping to church on Christmas Day with the rest of the royal crew, as he has done for the last 2 years. Nor will we see him on Thursday at the big royal lunch the King's hosting for the wider royal family at Buckingham Palace this year. The pariah prince, who really has been a royal outcast since that disastrous 2019 Newsnight interview, except for joining just a few family get-togethers, has been cast out of the royal fold even further. It is perhaps a final attempt to stop him in his tracks and prevent his antics further overshadowing the public work of the royal family. But will it work? Well, the King's been out and about this morning for the first time since the scandal broke, attending an Advent service at the Catholic Church of the Immaculate Conception in London, an engagement which has gone smoothly, but, let's be honest, it's unlikely to be leading the royal news headlines. Well, I recently interviewed the Duchess of York for the Sunday Times, a piece you can still read online at thetimes.com. And I asked Fergie a bit about their unconventional relationship. Because despite divorcing in 1996, they still live together at Royal Lodge, and she remains devotedly loyal to him, despite the seemingly endless scandals that swirl around Andrew. Fergie described her role living with her ex-husband as being like a carer for a sad man. Well, I think it's fair to say that carer's role just got a bit more demanding, because it looks like it's going to be turkey for two at Royal Lodge next week. So here to unpick all of this with me, I'm delighted to say Matt Wilkinson, the Sun's royal editor, joins me now. And Matt, I have to start by paying tribute to the Sun's headline writers for the last couple of days, because yesterday's front page was a Christmas cracker, the banned old Duke of York, which was referring to his likely Christmas excommunication. And today, just here on the desk, is over a particularly arresting image of Andrew's head coming out of a turkey's cavity, wearing a paper crown, is the headline, Andrew's stuffed at Christmas. Well done to the headline writers.
They've definitely earned their pot money for beer tonight, I think, the last couple of days.
Always look forward to Sun headline. So, Matt, I mean, there's so much to talk about. First of all, what questions do we think Andrew still needs to answer? Do the public now have a right to know where he has found these funds to suddenly live at Royal Lodge? And how likely is that? Because we keep being told that even the bean counters at Buckingham Palace can't get documentation out of them. They keep getting these verbal reassurances the money comes from legitimate sources.
Well, exactly. They, as you point out, they're unable to investigate it. But the problem with Andrew, he has never exactly been forthcoming with the truth. And if you think back to the Epstein scandal, that rumbled on for about 10, 11, 12 years, and it still is now. And we've been in this situation before with Andrew, where he has questions that he should answer, but he doesn't. He puts his head into the sand, hopes it all goes away. You know, he's been accused of being arrogant, etc. in the past. He probably thinks, I've done nothing wrong, it's all fine, I don't have to talk about it. And I could see this China scandal, this alleged China spy, and also potential, business links or financial links in the past. I worry as a journalist, because we'll have to do it for years and years, but I could see this rumbling on and on and on and on until he actually comes clean and does answer the questions to say, where's he getting the money for Royal Lodge? But I don't think he will, because he's not that type of person.
And no one seems to be able to make him either. Do you think Andrew stepping back from Christmas, sort of disappearing over the Christmas period, was that did he have a choice, or was that really a done deal? I mean, the spinning was so strong, wasn't it? It was this very, the king shouldn't have to make the decision, but he should do the decent thing. I mean, it was a kind of fait accompli, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, you're right to mention about the spinning, because, is it Andrew has done the right thing and he's a gentleman? Is it Sarah Ferguson has stepped up and persuaded Andrew to do the right thing? Is it just a logical decision because Beatrice and Eugenie weren't going to go there this year? So I think they're saying that they didn't want to be there on their own because Beatrice and Eugenie going off to the in-laws, so maybe it's not appropriate for them to go. I think potentially there has been a lot of back-channel chat to persuade Andrew to, as this phrase, do the right thing. I wouldn't go as far, I don't know what you feel, but I wouldn't go as far as saying the king has banned him. I don't think the king has actually effectively banned him. I think he was invited, then he's basically been told it's much wiser for you not to show your face. For the first time in a long time, I think Andrew's, however he's come to the decision, he's made the right decision.
Which is, as you say, quite rare these days. So, Matt, how likely are we ever to see him in public again with the family? I mean, bar, and let's hope this is a long way off, but bar something like a royal funeral or a coronation, are we ever going to see him in public again? Because all we've seen of him really in the last few years has been Charles has sort of slowly rehabilitated him to allow him to do the Christmas walk and also Easter service as well. We've seen him. And we saw him at King Constantine's memorial service. All of that presumably is off the table now. When might we ever next see him with the family again?
I wouldn't rule them out.
Really?
Because this is Andrew.
Really?
And he might say, I'm doing it. When I think it was the King Constantine or the Easter Sunday, I'm not sure which one it was, where he just rolled down at the front of the, I think it was Easter, he rolled down, it was King Constantine, I believe, I was there, and he rolled down the hill, and I turned to some of his staff and said, what is he doing at the front? And he said, oh, no, it's actually technically at the back of the family. I was like, why is he there? And people were like, well, who's going to tell him? Glad he's taken his decision about not going for Christmas. It's going to have to be up to Andrew to make decisions. But I wouldn't rule out seeing him at Easter. He might say, "I'm turning up." He's got a skin. He's got skin as thick as a rhino's hide. He wants to go and do it. I could see him at Easter. I think we might disagree over this, but I think he's so brazen. He's so confident. He's so brash.
Yeah.
He's going to think, well, I've done nothing wrong. I'm going to come back.
Finally, Matt. I mean, after the year, it really has felt like another annus horribilis for the royal family. We've had the King and Princess of Wales both diagnosed with cancer. How do you think the royal family, the wider royal family, will be feeling about ending the year with a sort of Prince Andrew turkey?
I know we nearly got to the end of the year without Andrew embarrassing the royal family, didn't we? We were so close. I think that my feeling with the royal family in the last couple of weeks is they are looking positively, positiveness, and looking optimistically to the new year, and they could have really done without this. But it's always Andrew, isn't it? It's always Andrew that causes the issue.
It's always Andrew. Well, Matt, royal editor of The Sun, I think you and I are going to be talking about this a lot more in the coming weeks and months. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it.